As 2022 begins to draw to a close, it's time to start reflecting on the various and numerous, and boy, do I ever mean numerous number of movies that I started watching in January this year all the way to now, and they range from spectacular all the way to apocalyptically bad. My goodness, how could they make something so goddamn terrible when there were so many movies over here that were so goddamn good? When it comes to this list, though, I'm going to talk about the movies that I either didn't have that high expectations for, I thought might be mildly entertaining, or could be downright putrid. And by the end of it, whether I was sitting in my house or sitting in the movie theater, I was saying, my goodness, I can't believe how entertaining that was, how great that was, how much these particular movies surprised me. Let's get to it. I'm John Rethnam with my 10 most surprising movies of 2022 list, with some honorable mentions, of course. Let me know your most surprising movies in the comments, please, because honestly, taking a look at this list, I've reflected on the various movies that I've watched. I have watched a ton of movies this year. 138 movies in 2020 that were released that year, and I smashed that record. Yeah, smash. Oh boy, I sound so goddamn white now, touch saying that. And yeah, I'm recording this before the end of the year because I have a whole lot of work to do and a whole lot of other projects. And honestly, I don't see all that much coming out in the next few weeks. So it's just time to talk about these movies that I really ended up liking and I didn't expect to. Or movies that, okay, this could be mildly entertaining. My goodness, this is great. So anyway, the honorable mentions. Father of the Bride. If you would have told me a Father of the Bride remake in 2022 would have actually entertained me and even kind of plucked at the heartstrings a little bit, I would have laughed at you. This ended up actually being pretty well done. Not great, but pretty well done and heartfelt. Then we go to The Outfit. It's basically like a one-act play, a mob scene. It's better than a sex scene, and it's not obscene, but actually The Outfit was really well acted. It was basically in one location. It was just great. Great performances, great reveals, great stuff. Is it the most wholly original thing? No. But it's a nice throwback to film noir and really well done. The Adam Project. I didn't expect to find The Adam Project entertaining, and I did. I'm not going to say it's great, but it certainly was better than I expected. Turning Red. I don't know why this wasn't released in theaters. This probably could have made some pretty good money. Turning Red was a lot of fun. And handled a particular issue that young girls go through when they transition to womanhood quite well, in a very entertaining way. There are a few weird moments, but this was definitely one of the better Disney Pixar offerings in quite some time. And then we go to Moonshot, an HBO Max original. At least it used to be on HBO Max until, the Warner Brothers Discovery thing decided to just basically hack all this shit up and take away HBO Max originals like this, and I don't get it, but Moonshot ended up being really good. If you can find a way to legally watch this, it's very entertaining, and it's pretty heartfelt, and pretty well done. Now let's crack on with the top 10. Scream. Okay, there are some people who did not like the new Scream. Scream 5, if man, woman, animal, vegetable, or mineral are still alive. I enjoyed Scream. I thought it was quite fun. I thought it was better than Scream 4, even though Scream 4 was fine. It certainly was better than Scream 3. I'm going to be interested to see what they do with Scream 6, even though Neve Campbell will not be part of it. That's bullshit. They won't pay her enough. Nevertheless, Scream 5 proves that the franchise is still very much alive. I was very entertained by this. And by the way, full reviews of these particular movies are on the Real Honest Movie Reviews playlist, so I'm just doing bullet point stuff about it. But I enjoyed Scream 5. I thought it was quite good. Even though they decided to just call it Scream, this was pretty goddamn good. Number 9, Hatching. When I first saw the trailer, and it was about a girl that was raising an egg, and then we saw what was, hatched from said egg, hence the term hatching, I was expecting this movie to be absolutely dog shit. Don't get me wrong, the movie's bonkers, the movie's pretty ridiculous, but the movie's also quite entertaining, quite enjoyable, and even has a few horrifying moments because it is quite good. It is quite well made, and I would like to see what else the director can end up doing. Proof that trailers sometimes aren't always an indicator of how a movie will be, and we may be revisiting that particular theme, tee-hee-hee. But yeah, Hatching was pretty good. I'm not going to say it was absolutely spectacular. I gave it a pretty high grade for surprising me. Then we go number 8, RRR. This was great. People had been asking me to review it for a while, and it'd be my most viewed movie review of the year, my most viewed video of the year, and my second most viewed video of all time. And yes, I got it wrong. It's Tollywood, not Bollywood. I apologize for that. I was not aware of different languages in India. I do apologize for that. If anybody happens to be watching this, will watch my review. But it was very entertaining, tremendous epic, blended a whole lot of, genres well, and had probably one of the best bromances ever on film. Ever. This was spectacular. It was great, and it was over 3 hours, and it barely felt like it. Sure, there are points where the movie slows down. You can't keep up that pace for that long, but this movie ends up just being a hugely entertaining piece with just a lot of great action, a lot of great goddamn action. They put a lot of thought in this, and it was great shit. Speaking of great shit, number 7, The Lost City. When I saw this, when I saw the trailer, Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, I'm like, okay, maybe it could be, there could be a couple laughs, but this movie looks pretty goddamn stupid. From the very beginning, I was proven wrong. Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, Daniel Radcliffe, Brad Pitt in a cameo role. This was great. This was great, goddamn. I enjoyed the hell out of this because it had just the right twist on the humor. Channing Tatum was just great in this. And Sandra Bullock, who I'm not the biggest fan of, in all honesty, I think she's good in some stuff. She was great here. She was great. The comedy was perfectly done. It was paced well. It ended up just being one of the most entertaining things that they've done, that Hollywood's done in quite a while. It was like Romancing the Stone for the modern generation. If you've seen Romancing the Stone or Jewel of the Nile, you get it, then you get it. Yeah, The Lost City was quite good. Daniel Radcliffe has continued to prove that he is just far more than Harry Potter, and continues taking obscure, weird roles just to have fun. You can tell he's having fun, and that's what I like. Sometimes when a movie can have fun and do it the right way. Yes, I can have fun watching a movie. Number 6, Barbarian. I knew very little about this movie going into it. I'd seen a couple teasers, and I avoided any other deep dive trailers. I was like, all right, let me just watch it. Sat down and watched it opening day. Well, technically the day before opening day, because there's a theater in town that plays the movies a little bit early. And fortunately, since I was off on that Thursday, I was able to watch it, and man, well filmed. The lead actress, she did great. Bill Skarsgård was great. Justin Long was great. This was so well done. And yes, there are a lot of dumb decisions in it. It's a horror movie. Of course you're going to get dumb decisions. But it was especially well filmed. Those parts were, and I'm not going to say it for anybody that hasn't seen the movie yet, but those parts where they're filming in the basement and beyond, and even in the house, just the long shots, the great camera work, the certain twists that go around, the way they styled the shots. This had a lot of thought put into it. And I can't wait to see what the writer-director has to do in the future. Very well done and very entertaining, and certainly surprised me. By the end of it, I was like, big applause. Great shit. This was good. And I praise it highly in my review. Then we go number 5. The Batman. The Batman. Why are we going to the Batman at number 5? Why is the Batman so high? Because this movie was really dark. I mean, literally. I had a hard goddamn time seeing where the hell was going on in this movie. But Robert Pattinson was great. Colin Farrell was great as the Penguin. And Zoe Kravitz is, Jesus Christ, goddamn Zoe Kravitz. But she was great. The movie was so well done. And I'm glad I waited until it was on HBO Max to watch it, though, because it was almost 3 hours, and it would have been difficult to sit down and watch a movie for 3 hours in a theater without having to get up and go to the bathroom a couple times. I mean, even if you got a strong iron bladder, you're eventually going to need to go, and you don't want to miss anything. It was great. The Batman was great. I am interested to see what they're going to do with the franchise in the future. And honestly, the Batman was just very enjoyable. And Robert Pattinson nailed it as Bruce Wayne, the Batman, the Dark Knight. This was about as close as you could get to Nolan's trilogy. Might even be a little bit better than a couple of them. Maybe. But yeah, the Batman was really, really spectacular. Now we're into the top 4. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I enjoyed the first Sonic the Hedgehog, despite the fact I didn't think that it was great. I thought it was the least entertained, better than it had any right to be. And this sequel surprised me. It really surprised me. I did not expect it to be as good as it was. Idris Elba as Knuckles, and Jim Carrey returning as Dr. Robotnik, and the tease at the end, during the end credits, that let's just say they're going to continue the franchise, and hopefully they're going to expand on it, and maybe we're going to get at least a good third installment. I don't know if they're going to be able to do much after a third movie, but this second one was really, really entertaining. Yes, it was more of the same of the first one, but stuff was more polished, and they didn't have to worry about setting so much stuff up. They could have more fun, and that's what this was. It was fun. It was entertaining and fun, and I enjoyed this immensely. Now we move on to number 3, The Spine of Night. The Shudder original has a storied history as far as its production. Various animators worked on it over a period of a few years, and the animation styles don't have a clash. They all blend together. They looking at the style, you would actually think, looking at the story and looking at how it could play out, you would think they would clash. No, this was really, really good. One of the most surprising movies of the year, because when I saw it, I was like, okay, what's going on? I go, oh, we're just getting full-on, almost heavy metal-like violence and nudity, and hooray. This was just really, really entertaining and pretty moving, and gave you a feel like, okay, how humankind will try to triumph in the worst of circumstances, but how it ain't going to be goddamn easy, and this was pretty goddamn good. Now we move on to number 2, The Black Phone. Considering I did not like Sinister at all, seriously, I don't think you can understand how much I utterly loathe Sinister, even though I recognize it was well made for about $3 million. When I saw The Black Phone, I saw Ethan Hawke was in it, who I'm not the biggest fan of, at least as an actor. I mean, as a person, he seems fine. In interviews, he seems cool. I feel he plays almost the same guy in at least 80% of the movies, and I've kind of been turned off to Ethan Hawke for a while. Also Sinister. That being said, The Black Phone ended up surprising me because this was well made, well beyond creepy. I mean, good God, this movie is creepy. It was mostly set in a couple locations, the basement, and then also the shit that was going on, like with other characters trying to find this missing child. And the child actors were really good as well. It ended up being a very surprisingly well-made horror movie, and I was very stunned that it ended up being as great as it was. And that's why it's number 2. But number 1, Smile. If you would have told me that Smile would end up being the most surprising movie and possibly one of my favorite movies of the year, I would have laughed in your face. I wouldn't have smiled. I would have said, what the hell kind of drugs are you on? Because seeing that trailer, this looks like dog shit. This looks terrible. What the hell is going on? And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, because my reviews already have spoilers. But within the first few minutes, I'm like, okay, whatever's going on. And then I'm ready to laugh. I'm ready to this. It was a pretty full theater, actually, for a late Thursday show. And I watched it, and within the first 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, the director actually has talent and put thought into this and did some good stuff, and there was some pretty damn good acting here. Especially by the lead. There's a lot of good stuff here. Okay, it treads familiar ground, but you know what? It does it in a stylish way and does really, really good shit, and ends up having a pretty haunting ending. While being simple, it's also a little bit complex, like, ooh. So yeah, Smile ends up being my most surprising movie of 2022. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.